Okay, as some of you might know, I'm buying beaver rough skinned frozen, and you don't have to put them up. And I just want to do a little tutorial to show you exactly what we're looking for. Number one is make sure your beavers are nice and dry. Give them a good quick brushing. Just to make sure there's nothing's matted. It's really important to get your beavers dry. I'm lucky I have a fan. I use a dog slicker brush and then a horse comb, and they work out really good. Once I got them the way I want them, then I'm just going to rough skin this beaver. I start by cutting off the four paws. I always have a bucket handy to throw the extra parts in. Hardest part about doing a beaver is the work involved in skinning and fleshing and drying them. And this year in Ontario, we're offering to buy beaver, what we call rough skinned. So basically, you prep the beaver. You leave lots of extra meat on it, and we'll buy it, freeze it, and we'll buy it just like that. So I always expose the anus area, and then I cut around the tail on both sides so that you can see that I'm cut. And then once I get it like that, I turn it sideways again, make a mark kind of to match the beaver here a little bit. If I don't like it, I wipe it out, do it again. Then I take a roofer's hook, works really good on the larger size beaver like this. Bring it down to within an inch of where I got it cut. Open it up, take a second and pull it open. I always take the first inch or so around the front lips, makes it easier for me. Okay, so once I have the beaver prepped like this, I'm always watching to see if it's got any blood. Keep a roll of paper towel handy. Once I have it rough like this, then the rough skinning process starts. You can tell the nice beaver coming on prime because he's going to have a lot of that nice white fat that this guy's got. I think I took this beaver November the 5th, I think. They almost peel themselves. I'm pulling, just barely touching it with a knife. Not too concerned about how much extra I leave on it. I'm leaving some. Yeah, so I knew this one was a female because she gave me heck there where I was trapping it there. I had a hard time to catch her here. You can tell because that's where her nipples are there. She was milking earlier in the year. So I'm working the front leg out here, taking my time. I get it to a certain point. I use my other knife. Get it behind, come up behind the leg like that. Front leg's out, then I work on the back leg. So once I got the front leg out, I'm working on the back leg, and I pop it out. And I just skin it down. Once I get it where I want, Okay, then I spin it, do the other side. When your beaver's drying the way I dry them, it always gets a little easier to skin in the sense that it's going to be firm. You try to skin a fresh beaver, sometimes they're a little bit mushy. So again, I'm working a way to get the legs out. Sharp knife is an asset. Never consider myself much of a knife sharpener, but I do like to have a sharp knife when I'm working this. Get it to where I'm going here. Use my smaller knife, my pelting knife, to get it like so. Get behind it on the bone, cut it out, and then again back with the front leg out. Again working on the back leg. Getting her down to where I want. There's a bit of a cartilage back here that I like to try to get underneath if I can. Once I get that, I'm good. Okay, so I got my beaver kind of where I want. So a trick that I learned is I take a fishing hook, I grind off the barb, and then I use it to hook the leg like that, and it gives me like something really hard to pull on. I used to use string and I'd loop it, and I found that using that fish hook like that is a lot easier and faster for me. And I just keep pulling. See a little bit of leakage here. I'll clean it up right away. Once I have the back leg off, then I use the weight of the pelt to bring it over to the edge of the table here like so. Carefully skin it off. First thing you get to is the ears. One ear out. Usually if I make a mistake in a beaver I throw on the head, I'll switch to my pelting knife here. Again, I got the pelt hanging off the edge of the table here, and the weight helps keep pressure on it and pulling. And then my fish hook, I can really pull on this and work it off. Up to the eyeballs here. One out. Just about got it here. I'm always pulling and it's done. So make sure it's skin to skin and fat to fat. just to show you the other valuable thing that's in a beaver is the castor gland. I cut it up high and I bring it down and you start seeing the castor. When I get enough of it exposed, I'll roll it out like so. You're trying not to get any meat on it. So the red meat you want to kind of separate off. And once you get it, and that's your castor glands, that's what you want. The other one that's valuable if you make your own lure is the oil glands. And I'll take those off. There's like a white milky substance in it. It's good for adding a little bit of it to your beaver lure, and it's good for marten and fisher lure when I put a little bit of skunk essence basically, and then I add a little bit of castor and some oil from the beaver. So those are the two other glands, and that's it. My beaver's ready to be used for bait. So a good tip is to have sawdust to clean up the grease and any oil that's on your table. This is just clean, dry sawdust. Doesn't hurt anything. I wipe it down and then my table's completely clean. And I just push it off on the floor. And your table's always clean. So, when you're ready now to freeze this beaver, so it's a rough skin beaver. Okay, I open it up so it's skin to skin, fur to fur. I fold it in half lengthwise, like so. Make sure that there's no exposed skin showing anywhere. And then I freeze it like that now. I want the beaver to be dry and I want it flat like this. If you're really stuck for freezer space, fold it in half lengthwise like this, and you can fold it again like this. That'll save a bit of room. But we want to obviously be able to see the fur quality on the beaver, and we'll buy them just like this. So freeze them like this if you have short on freezer space, or if you're not, freeze them like lengthwise like this. That's what we want. So this one's frozen, and that's how we want them. And we can tell when we feel it how much resistance there is in the fur. This one's a bit of an earlier flat one. Still a good beaver, but a bit early. But that's how we want them. So frozen lengthwise flat. All right. Any questions, you can give me a call, 705-476-2050. Buying beaver for GFW Canada, and we're buying them rough skin frozen. All right, thanks.